YouTube, what's happening? I wanted to do a initial thought of this Harbor Freight Forge vise. I just got it the other day. I've typically had just an old small vise that most cases was adequate, but sometimes I needed to do something bigger. I've read reviews on this, and you've got a lot of people who like it, and a lot of people say it broke on the first time. The first time they cranked the jaws, it broke, or when they released the set screw over here so you can rotate the jaws, that broke. Hopefully I'm not going to fall into that. So I have tinkered with this slightly before doing this video, just screwing the vise out and putting it back. When I initially got it, there were a couple of areas as you would open it or close it that you would run into a little bit more resistance. Now, this is not just completely smooth like your broken good old vise. It's not a big deal at all, but you can just tell that this is not super high quality precision machining to make these parts. Now, what I did was underneath here, through the bottom side, underneath this piece down here, you can actually get a good picture of the screw, and you can see the screw. So I put some heavy axle grease on that, and I've been working it back and forth. And I gotta say, it's gotten a lot better as that grease goes. And I'm sure as the wear process starts on the screw mechanism in here, it'll get better and better. But what I feel pretty good about this. For the type of use that I'm going to do on this vise, I think it's going to be more than adequate for me. I'm never going to do anything super heavy. I'm not going to need to clamp down a piece of, 2-inch solid tube. I shouldn't call it a tube if it's solid, but a 2-inch round stock and have it 4 feet out on the vise and really be cranking on it and pulling on it. I could see how if you're using it and you need to use it in that type of environment, this thing's not going to hold up like a big, heavy Wilton vise would over time. But if you've just got, minor shop things, and every once in a while you need to have a bigger jaw surface, which, by the way, this is is it 5.5 inch? That's 5-inch. 5-inch jaws. And you can put larger things in there. So initially, what I'm saying is, I think over time, this is going to be good for me when I mess with the swivels here where the screws to release so you can get the swivel mechanism going. Those all seem to be okay. This locking mechanism seems to be sufficient. I've read reviews where it said that this lock bolt right here, which stops the head of this from rotating, when someone turned it, it just stripped out. I don't know. I haven't put enough of a load in here when it's at an angle and turned it down and got some tension on this thing to lock it into place. How hard do I have to lock this knob into place to make sure the head doesn't swivel? I don't know that yet, but it feels solid from the initial tinkering that I've done with it. So once again, for light home usage, and you want a bigger vise to do some bigger tasks every once in a while, but you're not a machinist where you're really having to clamp something down and just go to work on it, bending, pulling, prying, I think this vise will do what you need it to do, and for a cost-effective price. It was $84. I don't know, long-term where we'll be at in 5 years with this thing, but I'm just going to bet from tinkering around with it, as long as something like this set screw doesn't fail so you can hold your jaws at whatever angle you need to hold them at, this would be the part right here that I would feel the most likely to fail before anything else. Now, I've also read where people said the first time they put an item in the jaws and cranked it down, that the head of the jaws broke off. I don't know, when you look in behind here, let me take my gloves off, it's a little chilly out here. When you look in behind here, behind the front jaw, yes, it is hollowed out in here. So, hopefully there's adequate metal there. I don't know how hard you'd have to crank it to break it. The back jaw here is solid, but this one going in here is hollowed out in here a little bit, and you know, it's a fairly decent little cavity in there. So, but yeah, you know, if you need to do something where you need to rotate a vise and clamp something a little bit bigger and just have a little bit beefier vise, you don't want to spend a lot of money. I would love to have one of those really nice, I think they're Wilton vices, one of the bullet type vices, and I've seen those things for $500, $700, $800, and I just don't have the need for that type of vise. But every once in a while, I do have a bigger vise. So anyway, initial thoughts on this: I think it's going to work and be okay. Time will tell. This is the Harbor Freight Forge 5-inch multi-purpose vise, item number 6113. And just to give you an idea, let's see, I don't know, I bought this scale to use in some videos. Let's see if I can put something on here. Let's weigh it and see how much this thing weighs. I'm gonna guess 35 pounds. I'm sure it says it on the box, but I'm just curious what the scale will show us. So we have this thing on camera. Wow, pretty good. 34.5 pounds is what this thing weighs. So in another video I did, I've already tested this scale, and I feel like this scale is reading very accurately. So 34.5 pounds, not a bad vise. I don't know if, it'd be interesting to get another one and see if you start turning the screw, does it feel just as smooth as silk and you can open it and close it? But it has gotten a lot better since I've probably done this 20 times in and out and put the heavy grease on the threaded rod in here, so it will turn smoother, and it's definitely doing that. All right, I will continue to update and have maybe a part 2 on this after I've beat on it a while. And I don't want to say beat on it. I'm really not gonna. I don't know that I'll ever have to do that, but put it through a more extensive, rigorous use, and then see how it's holding up and what it's doing, because I'm sure I'll use it to some degree like that. And yeah, if your expectations are set right and you're just kind of a hobbyist at home and need a simple vise, I think this one will work for you. Let's I don't know, let's see if we, I want to tip out here. Put my hand up here. That's the jaws all the way out. So maybe 6 inches or so, somewhere in that range. The jaws are all the way out. And it's got the teeth in here to clamp a pipe if you need to put that in there. Yep. Harbor Freight Forge vise. Let's see. How does it hold up? Who knows? To be determined, right? All right, how to go.